Hello, my name is Xavier, and I'm speaking primarily to family, to friends, to acquaintances, people that are inside my sphere of influence. And if you don't know me, because somebody's either forwarded this video or you've stumbled across it, um, I'm everything from being a professional tech geek, a corporate problem solver, an entrepreneur, a Bible teacher, a minister, a life coach, a business coach. Those are things that I do. And I'm stepping out of my comfort zone right now because I believe that I want to contribute to the conversations that are getting started about a lot of the issues that are plaguing our nation right now. There are a number of them. And what I want to put across today in this very first of what I hope will be a series of videos is that we are in what we call a kairos time. And now kairos is a Greek word for time, and there are at least two Greek words for time. One is chronos, which is time as we're used to thinking of it, but kairos is the right time, is a word for the right time, for the right opportune time, for an appointed time. Because there is something happening in the world, and it's much bigger than the things that we are seeing in the media right now and that we are wrestling with in our own lives. Now, those of you who follow such things know that 2020 was going to be a unique year. There's this emerging of the Gregorian and the Hebrew calendar. And I'm not going to get into all that. You can study those things for yourself. But it meant that there was an appointed time, there is an appointed time for a lot of things that are going on. But no one saw what was coming. No one could have imagined everything that we've been hit with this year, not just in our country, but all over the world. We've got the pandemic. We've got the racial division that's in our country. The economic chaos that has been caused by this, and a lot of other things. And the bottom line is, our institutions, especially, are really being battered and shaken to the core. There's been, in addition to what we see in our government and a lot of the systemic problems that are really coming out and coming to fruition, I'm seeing we're seeing the shortcomings and the failure of church and religion, where business is falling short of everybody, where education is doing the same thing. The medical industrial complex has reached this tipping point where the cost of our health care is just completely out of alignment. The political left and the right are just at each other's throats, and they've always been contentious, but it's just moved beyond all reason at this point. And if you're a believer, and again, that's primarily who I'm speaking to, your faith is being challenged. A lot of people that I've talked to, fall in under this, and it's being challenged and it's being stress tested. And for many, fear and frustration and anxiety are running absolutely rampant, and worry has really kind of become the norm. And the problems that the world, is currently experiencing, these problems are boiling over into believers' lives. And that really shouldn't be going on. When the circumstances and all these things that are happening, what should be going on is it should be revealing the possibilities of God's kingdom. And we're just, I won't say that we're not seeing it, because I know that we are, but not a lot of people are recognizing this yet. Now, the things that I have to say and the things that I'll share with you in these videos, a lot of people are going to disagree with, and that's okay. I am a disciple of Christ, and I tend to avoid the word Christian, not because I'm not one, I most certainly am, but I tend to avoid that word just because of what it has come to represent. It is a label that's been applied to, or a lot of people have applied to themselves, and it's really not indicative of what the word really means. Again, being a follower of Christ. I will let you know right now, I believe in the Bible. But many know the words of the Bible, but not the spiritual meaning behind those words. And so consequently, again, I'm speaking primarily to believers, but also those who are spiritually minded and maybe just haven't found exactly what they're looking for. So What else? I am also a political independent. And what that really means is that I am an equal opportunity offender when it comes to politics. I do not adhere to the ideology of either the Democrats or the Republicans, the right or the left, the red, the blue, whatever. I know that a good idea for our country is a good idea, and a bad idea is a bad idea, and it doesn't matter, who comes up with that idea. Our country was built on a set of principles so that we could debate and decide and come to agreement. But in these last couple of decades, what we've really seen in our political environment is it's my way or the highway. It's just kind of a scorched earth policy, and that's it's one of the reasons why things are such a mess, as they are. So when I say I'm an equal opportunity offender, as far as politics goes, it means I am just as likely, just as likely to piss off one side or the other with anything that I say. Usually both sides, because just because. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. What I have to say is going to challenge a lot of people's beliefs. It's going to upset a lot of apple carts. It's going to upset people's sensibilities. I'm not out to do that deliberately. I'm just out to share the things that I am convicted of and that the Lord really kind of presses on my heart. Because I also believe that, as a people and as a society, we can't heal if we don't clean the wound. And a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is going to be like poking at those particular wounds. So I would ask that if you're going to follow me, if you're going to listen to anything I have to say, that you judge me by what I have to say. And again, that's not going to be easy for a lot of people to hear, and I believe it's because I speak from a perspective that many have not really heard from before. But here's what I know, and it's what I alluded to before. For the child of God, for believers, for Christians, every problem that we encounter, is an opportunity to release a divine promise or divine provision of God. And that is, what's going to happen as we move forward. In fact, it's already happening. If you thought the first half of this year has just been absolutely nuts, and I don't know anybody who doesn't, the second half of this year is going to be just as unsettling, let's just put it that way, as the first half has been. So, I'll say what I have to say in these videos, and it's going to, a lot of people are not going to believe, they're not going to accept. I'm just going to quote from the book of Acts, chapter 13, verses 40 through 41, which says, "Therefore take heed, so that the thing spoken of in the prophets may not come upon you. Behold, you scoffers, and marvel, and perish, for I am accomplishing a work in your days, a work which you will never believe, though some should describe it to you." So I'm just going to take that particular text and apply it to the things that I want to share with you. And yes, no, a lot of people aren't going to accept it. A lot of people aren't going to believe it. That's okay. The things are not going to play out the way that most people think that they are. We have a God who is a lot more engaged, a lot more interested than a lot of people actually give him credit for, because they can't see and understand. And I'll get into that in subsequent videos. But right now, I know that when I think a particular situation is going to play out a certain way, that I can pretty much guarantee that's not going to be the way that it's going to happen. God's ways are so far above our ways and so backwards to our human nature and our human way of thinking that we just can't perceive it. That being said, the global situation and what's happening in our nation is about to get even more challenging. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how things progress and how people's beliefs and the anchors that they thought they were holding on to, things that they thought were anchors, are going to place them. I believe that where you position yourself now and how you think, that's going to make the difference between, being thrown about like a rag doll, like a rag doll in a hurricane, or the difference between that and being anchored, to a rock in the storm. So, if what I'm saying, piques your interest or resonates with you at all, if you can't shake the feeling that there's got to be more going on than just what you're hearing in the news, and certainly there is, then I'm just going to say, look for me tomorrow, and we'll really kind of get started on this, and I look forward to sharing, with you the things that I have to share. So hope to see you again, and be blessed.